Hey there, welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm really excited to be doing my first franchise review, Final Destination. So over the next month or so, I'm going to be reviewing all the Final Destination films, and then once Final Destination Bloodline is out, I'm going to be doing a ranking. I think this is one of the easiest franchises to watch, and while not every film is a 4.5 5-star film, I genuinely enjoy most of them. So, let's kick off this franchise where you'd expect me to. The first, the original Final Destination from 2000, directed by James Wong. Can you believe it's been over 2 decades since the first Final Destination came out? It still holds up remarkably well, and the innovative death sequences and inescapable antagonists have influenced the horror genre since. Okay, so let's talk about the characters. So first up, we have Alex Browning, played by Devon Sawa. A sweet, normal young man who experiences this installment's terrifying premonition. It changes his life as he realises the necessity of unravelling death's design. He's a relatable everyman thrown into an extraordinary, horrifying situation, and his vulnerability adds a human side to the story. Next up is Clear Rivers, played by Ali Larter, who I have previously seen in Heroes as Nikki Sanders. Clear is a slightly awkward, quiet girl. She's a bit of a loner, but there's a resourcefulness to her, and she's an artist and a sculptor, with a sharp mind that allows her to think outside the box when it comes to surviving death's plan. Next up is Carter Lawton, played by Kerr Smith, who I've previously seen in Dawson's Creek as Jack McPhee. He's a hot-headed jock with a short fuse and a controlling nature, one of the more abrasive characters in the film. His aggressive behaviour and initial scepticism towards Alex's premonition seems less about disbelief and more about his fear of losing control that make him a tough character to root for at first, but as the story unfolds, his arc shows a bit of vulnerability and growth. Next up is Billy Hitchcock, played by Sean William Scott, who I know from American Pie as Stifler. He's an annoying stoner with a tendency to be a bit of a jerk. Though his behaviour often makes him hard to like, he adds a layer of levity to the film's intense atmosphere. Next up is Valerie Lawton, played by Kristen Cloak. Now, she's a teacher, she's protective and caring. However, her instinct to run rather than confront the situation heads-on adds a layer of realism to the film. And next is Bloodworth the Mortician, played by the late great Tony Todd. This is one of the many iconic roles from Tony Todd. Bloodworth is the mortician that always seems to be expecting whoever it is that visits him for answers, always seems to know more than he's letting on, and he's good at being cryptic and giving off creepy vibes, and his unsettling presence leaves a lasting impression. Despite not having much screen time, I quickly developed a soft spot for this character. And finally, the 2 cops, Agent Shrek and Agent Wayne. These are 2 dedicated cops that are investigating the strange series of events surrounding the survivors. While their roles are more background, their persistence in trying to understand the unfolding deaths adds to the film's unpredictability. So now about the plot. The IMDb plot reads, after getting a premonition about a plane crash on his school trip, Alex, a student, saved a few of his classmates. However, the situation gets complicated when death starts chasing them. The film broke the mould by focusing on a unique premise. A premonition saves a group of people from death, but then death itself goes after those who escaped. These elaborate Rube Goldberg-style death sequences took on a life of their own after the first film. And after this, we started guessing and looking out for when and how things could happen. Some deaths are less complex than others, but each is seen in gruesome detail. Death seems inevitable for them all, partly because they only half believe Alex, and partly because death is just that good. Each scene underscores the relentlessness of death's design. And now a word about the pacing. The film wastes no time in depicting its setup, and as a result, at the beginning, there are very few characters we feel sorry for. After that, the tension builds, and the pacing balances moments of dread with sudden bursts of horror, keeping the audience engaged as the characters race against time to outwit an unstoppable force. Each death scene is meticulously crafted, creating a suspenseful atmosphere that rarely lets up. And now the director's vision and production. Directed by James Wong, known for The X-Files, he, along with his frequent collaborator Glenn Morgan, were responsible for some of the series' most memorable and critically acclaimed episodes, so he has a track record in horror. Drawing from his experience on The X-Files, Wong brings a style that favours gradual revelation and atmospheric build-up, elements that are essential in horror and thriller genres. This approach is evident in how Final Destination manages to keep audience on edge, waiting for the next inevitable twist. Produced with a budget of approximately $23 million, the film balances polished effects with creative storytelling, and I feel it all still looks great watching it today. Interestingly, the story was initially conceived as a potential episode of X-Files. Overall, Wong's focus on meticulous pacing and tension is a key factor in what makes Final Destination such an effective and memorable film. And of course, the soundtrack plays a crucial role in enhancing suspense when danger is near, or they want us to think it is anyway. And I can't hear Rocky Mountain High by John Denver without thinking of this film. And now we get to the ratings. For special effects, cinematography and gore, this film gets 5 out of 5. The death scenes in Final Destination are both freakishly violent and intricately crafted, showcasing a level of detail that makes each moment feel painfully real. From the high tension of the opening premonition to the elaborate and almost artistic nature of each subsequent death, the film excels in its ability to shock and captivate. For characters, this film gets 4.5 out of 5. The acting in Final Destination delivers a wide range of performances, with some truly standout moments. Devon Sawa shines as Alec, bringing a relatable and personable quality to his character, which makes his struggle as the film unfolds all the more believable. Annie Larter's portrayal of Claire adds emotional depth to the film, as she balances vulnerability with strength, making her character both affecting and essential to the story. And Tony Todd's memorable cameo as a mysterious Mr. Bloodworth adds a chilling touch to the film's already settling atmosphere. These are all standout performances. For enjoyment and rewatch value, this film gets 5 out of 5. The film balances creative thrills with well-developed characters, well, the main ones, and they are compelling and memorable. And the suspenseful and inventive death sequences keep viewers on edge, while the clever foreshadowing invites multiple viewing to catch every detail. Its unique concept and relentless tension ensures that Final Destination remains a memorable and highly rewatchable experience. So my personal score, this movie is a 4.5 out of 5-star film. If you're hunting for flaws, sure, you'll find some. There are very few movies that don't have mistakes or parts you would change. But when I watch this movie, I am hooked from start to finish by the film's inventive concept, unforgettable kills, and non-stop suspense. So that's all for this review. Final Destination is perfect for fans of suspenseful, high-concept horror films that play with fate and mortality. If you enjoy creative, tension-filled death sequences, eerie foreshadowing, and a relentless sense of dread, this film delivers. Have you seen Final Destination? Or are you an X-Files fan and a fan of James Wong's work? Do leave your comments down below, and remember to be respectful. And remember, this is only my opinion of the film. It would be a boring world if we all like the same things. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more horror content. You won't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off. Take care and see you next time.